All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening from wherever you are. Good afternoon, good morning, and to my Muslim brothers and sisters, may your home be blessed with warmth. May your heart be contented as you celebrate this wonderful, blessed day, Eid al-Fitr, and may I say Eid Mubarak to all Muslim brothers who are observing Eid al-Fitr. That is today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. Thank you for joining in and tuning to watch Afrique 24-hour TV. This is Afrique Open Political Talk, a talk that we bring to you each and every day. And this is a talk that gives us an opportunity to interact with matters people, matters power, matters politics, matters economy, and some fanatical moments. So karibuni sana as you join me this wonderful evening. I would just like to remind you that if you've not subscribed to our channel, kindly do so. Ensure that you subscribe to Afrique 24-hour. Turn on the notification bell so that the next day when we'll be having a live talk show like this, we'll be able to notify you. I know as we are breaking the fast, that is the Muslim brothers and sisters, as we are breaking the fast, a lot has happened in the country as we are going for the Eid Fitr, our celebrations, as we pray that Allah take away all our sins through the good deeds that we've been doing and will continue doing before, during, and after the holy month of Ramadan. A lot has also been happening in our country, things that, of course, I'm going to update you. Some of them and most of them you people are aware of. We know what has been happening in our political, economical, and social life. The doctor strike is still on, and there are so many people who've now joined on the strikes. We saw today the doctors' union representatives taking their petition to team ground in Parliament. I'll play for you such videos later. And we also saw a press conference by the Azimio La Umoja, One Kenya Alliance leaders, threatening that if the doctors' issue is not resolved, then they are going to lead Kenyans into strike. Besides that, the country is receiving a lot of rainfall, and it's sad that today some parts of this country are flooded, and some people are not able to get shelter because of the floods. That one calls for something called disaster management, and we need to call on our government to ensure that they manage disaster properly. Apart from that, you'll find that today we've also seen accidents. There are a lot of accidents taking place, like Ngata Bridge in Nakuru accident that took away 10 lives. May their souls rest in peace. Dukala Moja accident in Kericho also claimed about 8 lives. And we are also aware that 11 people lost their lives in a place called Lager Areli. Yeah, that is a bus that was from Garissa coming to Nairobi. and the CS Transport, that is Honorable former Algeo Marakwet Senator and former Majority Leader in the Senate, Onesimus Kipchumba Murkomen, said that his ministry cannot stop the accident, and he blamed the government, which he served, as the government has not funded the Ministry of Interior so well so that they can be able to implement or maybe enforce, put the law enforcers on our roads to ensure that our roads are safety. We are going to look at that. The accident that has really been rampant. It's been really been increasing, and it has consumed a lot of lives of Kenyans. If something is not done, if action is not taken, then we are recklessly and carelessly losing lives on our roads. Our roads are no longer safe. Of course, we're also going to look at politics, the emergence of the fearless Babu Wino trying to force himself into top leadership position. He's trying to be so aggressive, and of course, we are going to look at some of the events that makes us say so. We also know that today is that day that most of you have been waiting for. We are having the quarterfinals for the how do you call it, the UEFA Champions League, and a game that most people are interested in is halftime Arsenal versus Bayern Munich. Arsenal, despite getting behind the net faster, are now trailing. The game is now 2-1 on Bayern is having 2 goals, Arsenal is having 1. They're the first people to score. Bayern had to respond later, and the Hurricane also got a penalty. On the other end, we are having Real Madrid playing against Chelsea. Real Madrid is ahead with 2 goals. Sorry, playing against Man City. Chelsea is not there. Sorry. Chelsea is playing those Cotbiro. So Man City is trailing a 2 for Real Madrid, and Man City is having 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's conversation. Of course, today in politics, power, we are going to look at so many things. If you look at the major thing that we're going to concentrate on is the Azimio La Umoja. They've decided that they're going to call for Maandamano. Yeah? Maandamano are just those street protests and demonstrations in solidarity with doctors. So I don't know how terrible this one is going to be, taking in mind that the last Maandamanos that were called by Azimio were in March last year, that is 2023. And these ones were stopped when people went for this thing called the Nadco report. And ladies and gentlemen, there's also something that is happening that I have to bring into your attention. I know most people are not aware of it because these are some of the things that have been hidden. There are things that have been hidden to us. What is happening here today is, if you followed the parliament proceedings, of course, if you go to our channel, Freak 24, you'll find that we covered the proceedings in the afternoon. Parliament is currently engaged in deliberations regarding disaster management. No, while the county governments, allocation for disaster is barely used and in most cases, this money is normally misappropriated. So there's a bill that was brought in Parliament. I think it is in the second reading, and they've given it much energy irrespective of other bills. Remember, instead of currently discussing matters to deal with the doctor's strike and such issues that are touching on Kenyans, they are trying to come up with a bill that is going to create something called disaster management as a department, and this department is going to have some funds allocated. Not forgetting that Kenya is having a full ministry, a full department that is dealing with disaster management, with a CS, a permanent secretary, staff, and allocation. And apart from that, the county governments are also having departments of disaster management, and they get money from the national government yearly. And most of this money is normally misappropriated. Remember, before the El Nino that was really advertised that never happened, we had counties like Nairobi were told they bought some boats, some umbrellas, and such kind of things. But now Parliament is busy. If you followed the proceedings today, they are deliberating on disaster management, and most of them agreed with it because this is a department that is going to have an extra allocation from Kenyan taxpayers' money. But because some people are going to benefit, you find that the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, to me, I think it's not a good bill. It's not a good idea, because it is another MP strategy to have more locations in their control. And this bill, I'm telling you, it is going to pass without any objection. If you followed it today, most of them supported the bill. They praised the bill, save for a few MPs who queried, why would the government allocate an extra money, extra officers for something he called disaster and risk management, yet we are having a full ministry that is dealing with this. Apart from having a full ministry, each and every county from the 47 counties are having departments that are in charge of disasters. So guys, we need to be watchful. We need to look into these kind of bills that are being brought in Parliament and communicate through our elected leaders and tell them that they need to object. And if they have to discuss, they have to discuss these kind of bills objectively. So once again, let me thank you and welcome you to this show. Let me know through the comment section where you're joining from, your concerns, your comments, and what you would like us to discuss. The comment section are open from wherever you are joining me from, be it you're joining from Tembei TV. And of course, if you're joining from Tembei TV, it's my kinder reminder that you ensure you subscribe to Afrique 24 TV. That is in YouTube. That is how you support this program, by just subscribing. Nothing more, nothing much. Somebody's going to ask you, just subscribing. It is free to subscribe. Just a minute and you click on subscribe, and you can also turn on the notification bell so that whenever we go live, we'll always ensure that we alert you and we inform you that we are going live. Let us look at this. Before I take you straight to Azimio planning to join the demonstrations, I've told you that there's a lot of accidents that is taking place in this country. Our roads are not safe. I don't know where we should take our blame to as citizens. I don't know what we can advise citizens to do, because we've always told people that you need to be vigilant while using the roads, ensure that you keep yourself safe, ensure that you keep your family safe, ensure that you keep your loved ones safe. So whenever traveling, you know, these people who are traveling on the road, not everybody is sober. There are some people who are mad. There are some people who are on those roads and their mission is to commit suicide. So take care of yourself and your families. It's really, 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 really sad that we're losing lives through these accidents that in one way or the other can be prevented. So this is what the cabinet secretary had to say on that. Just want you to listen to the cabinet secretary talking on road accidents. Then we're going to weigh on it shortly.
Mimi nimetangaza juzi tunarudisha NTSA barabarani na tutawapatia nguvu ya kununua magari na kuhakikisha kwamba sisi tutashikana na polisi, tupatie support our police wafanye better enforcement. Kuna marafiki yangu wengi wanasema Kipchumba, simamisha mambo ya barabara, weka polisi waweze wakachunga barabara. Kweli ningependa kufanya namna hiyo, lakini also idara ya polisi yenye iko saizi ya traffic haijapewa pesa ya kutosha kuweka police enough kwa barabara ya kufanya enforcement. We need a concerted joint effort ya NTSA na police, traffic police, tutaweza kufanya hizo za barabara kuhakikisha enforcement imefanywa. Let me tell Kenyans, because many people are speaking as though it has just happened a new wave of accidents. It is not true. We've been losing people for the last 5 years, over 4,500, 4,400. The worst year was 2022, tulipoteza watu 4,650. What does that say? Hatujaweka dawa ama dawa inayofaa kupigana na road accidents since independence. And when I say that, nilikuwa naona watu wengine wanasema ilikuwa juzi. We have been losing people an average from 2004, which is 20 years ago. We have been losing an average of 3,800 people every year. Ukifanya hiyo hesabu inamaanisha in 20 years we have lost almost 100,000 people kwa sababu ya road accidents. So this is not something yenye mtu anaamuka tu anasema waziri simamisha ajali barabara. Hapana, this is a national catastrophe. As a country, road accidents is a problem. It's a menace I have been put here as your minister in the last 2 years for a problem that has been going on annually, 3,800, 3,700 from 204. It has been a catastrophe. It has not just happened. People are heartless to people who walk. They hate people they have no respect for pedestrians. That's why we have lost 445 pedestrians in 3 months. Because wale wako na magari na pikipiki wanafikiria barabara ni yao, hawajali wale wanavuka barabara. That behavior means it is inherent in us. Tunataka kuleta teknolojia ile vitu inaitwa speed cameras na kuangalia wale wanaendesha magari. Tumesema tunataka kuleta na tumefanya procurement process, saizi iko kwa treasury. Tukimaliza, we are working under PPP arrangement with private sector tuweke makameras kwa barabara zote, ndio tuweze tukasimamisha wale ambao wanafanya kazi hiyo. Na pia tunafanya kitu inaitwa instant fining kama wewe utapatikana na overlapping na overspeeding. Number 2, nimerevise ile regulations ile yenye ilitoa alcohol kwa barabara, na nimetuma tayari iko kwa Attorney General. Ile inaitwa drunk driving regulations, ikitoka kwa Attorney General inaenda bunge, na naomba bunge wapitishe haraka tuhakikishe kwamba tunarudisha alcohol kwa barabara na kupima wale walevi wenye wako barabarani. Ya 3, tumefanya tayari regulations ya wale inaitwa commercial vehicle regulations ili kukaza hii malori ambayo wanaleta shida kwa barabara. Tunasema pia lori zote sikuwe na vehicular telematics, ile inaonwa na wenye wanasimamia hiyo lori, na lazima wakuwe kwa sako ama kwa group to monitor hizo malori. Tumeongeza pia kwamba ninaleta regulations mpya ya shule, na shule zote zitalazimika kuweka computer center kwa shule ya kumonitor drivers wote. Everywhere penye wanaenda tunaweka magari yao kitu inaitwa vehicular telematics pamoja na dashboard camera ili kuhakikisha shule zetu na transport ya shule yetu iko safe. Ninataka kuhakikisha ya kwamba pia mambo ya road markings iwekwe pia back kwa ile inaitwa road maintenance, na hiyo tunafanya pamoja. Na pia tunasukuma mambo ya kuhakikisha kwamba 2018 tulipotoa NTSA kwa barabara, our traffic police wakakosa nguvu ya kuweza kuwa supported kwa kiwa barabara.
All right, guys, that is our CS transport talking on measures that he put in place to ensure that we don't have this kind of accidents. Of course, it's sad that we lose lives every day, and some of these kind of accidents can really be controlled. Like what we've been seeing, it's maybe it's because of the roads are poor, because we are having some cars or some matatus or some buses or some vans that are not regulated. We're having some careless drivers, and if we can be able to have some good enforcement or law enforcement on our roads, then we can really save lives. And above that, what I would urge people is that we need to take care of ourselves. We need to ensure that when we are using these roads, we take care of ourselves and ensure that we are safe. So back to our discussions. I've said if you're joining me for the first time, ensure that you subscribe to Afrique 24-hour TV, subscribe to Afrique, and turn on the notification bell so that whenever we are live, we'll always ensure that you get notified. But apart from that, I will also like to tell you that you can be part of this conversation using the comment section there. Let me know where you're joining me from. Let me know what you're thinking about, or let me know your concerns or your questions through the comment section. From wherever you're joining, whether you're in Facebook, you're in TikTok, or you're joining through the YouTube, there is a chat box there where you can be able to put your comment. And if you want to join me in studio so that you can also be part of this conversation, you can use the link that I've shared on the comment section. Another thing that I want us to look at is the situation of our health. You'll find that the doctors are maintained that the strike is still on until the government, that is, implements the collective bargaining agreement, the CBA, that is in question, and they want it to be fully implemented. And they are calling on the president to give his opinion, or maybe kuingilia kati, so that they can be able to have a solution, because people are really really lost lives, died to these demonstrations or because of these strikes that is taking place. The hospitals are deserted, and the medical fraternity have really been interfered with. Our medical department is really deserted, and people cannot be able to get treatment because of our paralyzed systems of health. And nobody is coming out clear from the government to give a solution. Instead, each and every department, they are opposing. Nobody is accepting to come into agreement or to lie low. Standing the ground. The government is standing the ground and telling them that, you know what, you need to leave dues. So nobody is ceding the ground. Nobody is saying that, hey, okay, let us now sort out this thing so that the services can proceed. So today we saw the Doctors Union present their petition to the team ground in Parliament. That's the team that is led by Babu Wino, people like Omuchomba and the young parliamentarians. And Babu Wino and the team vote that the president and the government needs to act, and the doctors should get all that they demand. The government should look for money, which they claimed is there, and ensure they pay doctors. Azimio also called a press conference and threatened that if this matter is not solved, then they are going to join doctors in the demonstrations. That is in solidarity to ensure they stand with the doctors. They're also going to call those people who believe in Azimio coalition. They'll call them on the streets so that they can be able to help voice the demands of the doctors to see if the demands will be heard and something done. Most people have talked of it, including the experts. We'll just play for you this short video, and after that, we'll be able to weigh on
the
it.
president has no interest in doctors' solution because the solution does not give him any money. He does not benefit if doctors are out of the street or are working. He does not benefit if doctors are paid their salary, which are his rightful salaries. But if people pay affordable housing and it makes people believe he's constructing houses,
yes,
his pockets will be better. I told you, Allah, this is a commercial president. This is a president who is a businessman. The business of the president solving the doctor issue does not add any money to his pocket.
yes.
But the business of forcing Kenyans to be built for houses by force puts money in his pocket, and that's why his interest is. Where there is money, the president goes himself. Where there is no money, he sends somebody. And I can tell you that exactly why we are trying to say he has no interest to speak. What does he speak about? But he's speaking about everything else. Now he's silent again on NADCO report, isn't it? NADCO report does not add him any money. You see now is the guys of Azimio that are fighting themselves about the NADCO report as if they were not aware. In fact, according to me, I don't want to start NADCO report because I stay to what you said. Mm-hmm. According to me, the president is silent strategically. But let's look at what is the issue here. What was the president's manifesto in healthcare? The president's manifesto in healthcare was that every Kenyan will have free, accessible, affordable, reliable healthcare.
Yes.
And even said that he's going to pay for people NHIF himself, isn't it? Now, NHIF cards, which is now called SHIF, cannot even be accepted in any private hospital. I've been a board member, and I'm still a board member, of the Catholic Health Care Services in the Archdiocese of Nairobi,
yes,
where we have 63 health facilities. All those health facilities, the biggest debtor is NHIF. Simba, when you sit down and you analyze who are the biggest debtors and you find the government your biggest debtor everywhere, people are paying premium. In fact, people pay premium even before they get their salaries, and the government do not want to pay the health service providers, which are hospitals. It shows that the president is completely, he does not care about healthcare. And without this, I just want to tell the president that according to us, for example, from Linda Jamii, and Simba, that have a dream for this country.
Yes, sir.
This country needs to move to a welfare state. A welfare state is a state where everybody's welfare is taken care of, where there is nothing like these are shareholders and versus others. Shareholders versus the rest of Kenyans. Because Kenyans feel left out. Everybody feels left out. You go to hospital, you feel left out. You are a youth, you feel left out in work. You are a woman, you feel left out. You belong to a certain community, you feel left out. Everybody feels left out. The only people feel left in are the shareholders who enjoys the lagasse of government. And I think these things whereby a few people take over the country, they take control of it, and they rule it, then they start giving excuses like, let's say, oh, you know, it is about development partners. No, I can tell you, I've heard people blaming IMF and World Bank. Let me tell you the truth. IMF and World Bank and the US, they have their own interest. If you're a head of state, instead of blaming them, why don't you work on the Kenyan national interest than your personal interest?
Yeah, that is a professor speaking, that is Professor Gola speaking on the issue of health, and he's really wondering why the government is so slow in addressing this issue of doctor strike and this issue of health, when the same government is quick in forcing Kenyans to pay for affordable houses. We're going to look at that. Doctors are striking. We are not even, no, there's something so critical. When the members of Azimio were demonstrating, they wanted the cost of the living to be lowered. Parliament, or not the parliament, but the president sat down and they came up with the ways to solve it. They came up with, I don't know, the NADCO report, NADCO committee and such kind of things. But now the doctors are striking, but nobody seemed to care. People just giving threats here and there. I want to play you some of the videos where members vote that they're going to stand with the striking doctors. And before that, there's a clip that is so interesting. I'll play that on later. So I just want to listen to this.
Doctors Ria, Doctors Ra, Doctors Tibim, Doctors Tialala, Warembo ha, Ma Doctors Mwe, Nurses Tialala. Now, the first thing that we will do is not to leave these precincts of Parliament. Mheshimiwa Osoro, these doctors must never leave here. Under the doctrine of necessity. Yes. The doctors must stay here because they need money. Yes. We will not wait for 2 weeks. Yes. Because in 2 weeks' time, how many patients shall have died? Yes. We want Ruto himself to meet these doctors. Yes. Ruto has been wasting time walking around the world, but he has a lot of crises in this nation. Yeah. The first one being the doctors' issue that he must address today. And doctors, this demonstration must never stop because Ruto said that there is no money. Auze hiyo saa yake ambayo ni 10 million. Walipe doctors. Dr. Ria, Dr. Ra, Dr. Tibi, Dr. Tialala. There is a motion before Parliament that is going to impeach Nakumicha. Nakumicha must. Nakumicha must. Nakumicha must. You cannot do diploma online and then you come and frustrate the doctors who cleared 6 years in the university. Doctors power. The doctors must not be paid yesterday. They must not be paid tomorrow, but they must be paid today. Ruto took loans and Ruto is collecting taxes, and those taxes must be used to pay these doctors. Ruto is vicariously liable for all the deaths occurring in the hospitals, for all the deaths occurring in this country, because he has refused. He has refused to pay the doctors. Ruto touched our toes and we kept quiet. He moved to our knees and we kept quiet. He jumped here and moved to our heads and we kept quiet. He moved to our chest and we kept quiet. Now he has touched our private parts. Dr. Ria, Dr. Sra, Dr. Studi, Dr. Stialala. Therefore, you must decide what to do with him. Hii serikali haitaendeshwa jinsi ambavyo mtu ambaye anaosha choo anaendesha hiyo choo. The government must never be run like a kiosk. These doctors must be respected because it is their duty, inherent duty, to receive their salaries. The 3 reducible minimums. Number 1, doctors must be paid as per the 2016-2017 CBA. Number two, the interns must be paid. And it must be 100% pay. Number 3, the doctors who have just graduated last year and before, they must be deployed. Today, doctors, there will be no business in parliament. Therefore, Mheshimiwa Osoro, inafaa utoke hapa before doctors wakukimbize hapa.
All right, that is the Member of Parliament, Embakasi East, and the leader of Team Ground receiving the doctor's petition. And he joined joined his voice with the voices of the doctors that we've been hearing each and every time, and declared that no, these doctors need to be paid, and the CBA, that is the combined bargaining agreement, should be implemented fully by the government, not today, not tomorrow, but it's now. It's due, and it should be paid. I just want to get to some other voices of people who also voiced themselves on the same. People are claiming doctors need to be paid. We need to have sanity in our hospitals. We need to see our hospitals back on their feet and running. We need to see people getting to the hospitals and getting medication. But there's also something that, guys, as we are going to be debating and doing on this, that we need to go and ask ourselves this issue of doctors. Do people think that this strike is going to bear any fruit? When I say bearing any fruit, the people who are striking, they need to get something, yeah? So will the doctors strike? Yeah, will the doctors strike bear fruit? So when I talk of fruit here, I think the main reason why they're striking, they want the CBA to be implemented. Number 2, they want the interns to be paid and such kind of things. But the government is telling them that, look, we don't have money to do that. You people need to live within your means. So will it bear fruit? Will the doctors finally get out of this strike with what they wanted? Will they get out of this strike with the implementation of the bargaining agreement implemented? Will they get out of this strike when the interns are paid the amount of money that they want to be paid? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves, because it's something that I think is so tricky here. When you look at some other departments, for example, the police, we are having the National Police Service. So the National Police Service is in charge of the police, the entire country. So they're having a police in Kabarnet, you're having a police in Karachuonyo, you're having a police in Kapedo, in Kakamega or Kaplong. All these police officers are employed by one employer called the National Police Service. When you go to teachers, we have something called the Teacher Service Commission. The Teacher Service Commission is in charge of employing all the teachers in the entire country. So if I have a teacher in Kwale, I have a teacher in Kadioni, Mukurweni, Nyansiongo, or I have a teacher in Kehancha, all these teachers are employed by the Teacher Service Commission. So in case the teachers went to strike, their union officials will have to negotiate uniformly for the teachers in the entire country, and the negotiation will be done with one employer called Teachers Service Commission. So if they have to achieve something, then they're going to achieve it equally. But now look at the doctors' issue. I don't know if somebody is also thinking in that way, because if you look at the doctors' issue, majorly this service is devolved, meaning the 47 counties, each county has got their own employer who employs the doctors. So a doctor who works in Muranga County is working under different terms from a doctor who works in Siaya or a doctor who is in Mombasa County. So do you think that their union will manage to come into agreement or to come and have a negotiation? Because for them to have a uniform negotiation, it means they have to bring all these 47 county governments or employers together and agree on something. Because even sometimes you've been hearing of strikes in some parts of the country, that is in specific counties, but some counties, they've always managed to resolve their issues. Forget about this one, which is national. So do you think the doctors will have to achieve, or they're just going to lose their jobs? Because I know some counties will fire them and employ new people and such kind of things. So for those people who understand that, let me know. Was it not possible for the doctors to demand for a unifying employer or a unified body to employ them like what the teachers are having? Because that is what makes it easy, it makes it simple and practical for their union to negotiate for better pay, something that is going to cut across the country. But at the moment, we know very well that the doctors are paid at the county levels. There are some that work in the referral hospitals, and remember the referral hospitals are independent, like Kenyatta National Teaching, Kenyatta Teaching, I don't know, the Kenyatta Hospital. That one is a national referral hospital, which is independent. It has got its own board that employs and makes decision. If you go to Eldoret Teaching and Referral, go to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral in Kisumu, go to Kisii Teaching and Referral. So these referral hospitals, they are independent. They have different ways of operating. They have different employers. They have different boards. So do you think that the strike is going to bear fruit, or we're just going to see the casualties? Because already for the casualties, we've seen them. We've seen people losing lives. We've seen people getting worse than they were simply because the medical attention is not there and our health centers or health facilities are deserted, and really the health activities have been paralyzed in this country. So speak to me through the comment section. Let me know your feeling. Let me know how you feel about this. Teso comedian. Karibu sana, Esther Stall. I can see you. Thank you very much for joining this kind of show. And as I tell, thank you very much.
Hapo kuna time walikula $300, kuna time walikula $250.
Keep mute those. You're having guys who are betting, eh?
I muted them. They are doing pichipongi here. I'm muting them.
Yeah, that's great. Eh? Tell them to pray for Arsenal.
No, I'm not fan of football. Yeah, I'm just fan
I'm
of
saying you tell them.
Talking about politics.
Yeah. So Karibu-san, Captain, the doctors are still striking, and the government is still insisting that no money. Apart from that, the members of parliament who are supposed to go to Parliament and maybe have a sitting to discuss this issue and maybe approve some funds to ensure that the doctors are paid what they want, have also joined the doctors. So, who is going to save Kenyans? Because the MPs, you saw them today, Babu Owino, people like Silvana Sosoro, they call them same team ground. They've already joined the doctors and are supporting the strike and are saying that the government should act. So who is the government? Who is this government that they want to act? And apart from that, you'll find that when you talk of the doctors, they have different employers because these people are employed at the county level. Health is devolved. Yeah? The governors are silent. None of them is speaking. Where are we heading as a country? Captain.
Nyabaya, you are asking me, huh?
Yeah, I want your opinion. Madaktari wamegoma. Mbunge mwenye anafaa kwenda pale bungeni atengeneze sheria, watafute venye wanatafuta pesa, wamalize hiyo shughuli, pia ameungana na madaktari kuambia daktari mgome na mpewe pesa yenu. Kila kitu mpewe. Sasa itakuwaje?
Lakini sasa Nyabaya, if I may ask you, mbunge kukuja kujoin mwananchi wa kawaida aingie kwa mgomo, anawaja wabunge wangapi wakiwa free, wanaenjoy salary, wanaenjoy sitting allowance, wanakunywa chai ya kutoka taxpayers money, alafu wanakuja wanabunge wawili watatu wanakuja kutudanganya ati we are joining the doctors in strike. Are we really serious in this country? I was expecting we are talking of the will have so many of that contrary opinion say hi or nay. But two MPs, one MP, or even 10 MPs, where are we heading?
What we expected is, I expected the MPs, instead of joining the doctors, I expected the MPs to call for a special sitting, bring a motion
that is what
to
I'm
discuss
saying.
the issue.
That is why I'm saying, how many MPs have they left in Parliament and they come to cheat wananchi here?
I get you.
Almost 300 MPs wamewacha pale, wamekuja wakiwa wawili, wamewacha 298 MPs including the appointed and all those whatever, and come and cheat wananchi that, oh, we are joining you in strike. What is the meaning of that? Surely
it doesn't make sense.
Babu, we know it's not making any sense, because you are there to convince your fellow colleagues in Parliament to join you and propose the motion. You discuss what's happening in the country, and make sure that the doctors and the nurses and all whatever, they are given their salaries, and our people, they get the medical services where they are supposed to.
I get you.
But coming to us ordinary mwananchi mwenye hata pesa mfukoni hatuna, na tuliambiwa pesa mfukoni, unakuja kutuambia tena kutende kwa strike. We are not for that. We are not for that. So let Babu Owino and Silvana Sosoro not come here and cheat us that they are joining wananchi, or they are joining the doctors striking. Those are what we call the content creators and looking for bonga points for 2027. That's what I can say. Watudanganye kwa vitu zingine, wasingoje kwa sababu Owino kwanza, I've been seeing him all the way. He's been looking for where the government is failing to come and cheat the ordinary mwananchi that, oh, they are coming in for you. Sijui walikuwa wengine walichanga pesa walipe walimu, wakati walimu alikuwa anafanya strike, wa create mpaka baby bill. Saa hiyo wa create baby bill, lakini they want to join the strike. These people, they think
no, there's something you said, walichanga pesa
kwa baby bill, na hiyo pesa ilienda wapi?
Hiyo walichanga pesa walipe walimu. Unakumbuka walimu walikuwa wamegoma, wakaweka pay bill
Yes, hiyo pesa iko wapi? Walete hiyo pesa saizi walipie doctors. Yes.
Those are the politicians we have. Ama?
Exactly. Those are our people. Those are Nabaya. Those are our
Yes.
brothers and sisters. He's your brother, he's my brother, he's my sister, he's your sister. Those are our people in Kenya. And that is what they are
Walimu
doing now.
wanagoma, wanaamua sasa hao wanataka create a parallel teacher service commission. Wakenya wachange pesa.
Payment method. Are you seeing?
I get you. Na hiyo pesa tafuatilia tujue kama ilifikia walimu.
Ilienda wapi hiyo pesa? And you cannot tell us there is no any ordinary Kenyan mwenye alichanga hiyo pesa ati hakuna. Kuna Wakenya walitoa pesa hata kama ni shilingi moja. Hata kama ni one bob.
CMP amesema mtu amerusha pale 50. Si hata kuna ile wakati ilikuwa inaitwaje? Ilikuwa inaitwa code. Waliweka payment.
Code, yeah, it was code by then. It was code. I even remember Kalonzo Musyoka holding the pay bill number.
Akibeba pay bill number hivi, si ndio?
Exactly.
Watu wakarusha pesa ndani
Watu walirusha hata shilingi 10, shilingi moja, hiyo ni pesa.
So hiyo sinaonyesha sasa, wanaonyesha wananchi serikali imefail, wananchi sasa wachukue jukumu la serikali.
Which of course, no, we cannot take over. We cannot take over the role of the government. We cannot take over Nyabai. We cannot take over the role of the government because we have the constitution defining what the ordinary mwananchi can do. That is where now we failed during the promulgation of the constitution 2010 because we are tied up. We cannot decide anything. The constitution defines everything. Are you getting me? Yes. So now for this issue of doctors and let me say doctors because it is the doctors right now. Maybe thereafter teachers will come there and many other, because I have been seeing that scenario whereby doctors they finish, teachers they come in, Kenya Habos they come in, whatever and all the parastatals they come in. Now, how can we finish all these things of strike in Kenya? Does it mean that the government is not listening until we press them their call by going to strike so that they can pay our people?
I get you. So look at this scenario.
Listen, Nyabaya, or we have to subsidize. We have to subsidize the payment of doctors. We need to subsidize the payment of our teachers. Is that where we are heading to?
Get you.
And if not so, right now the fuel has been reduced down without any subsidy. Whereby I can say, let's pay our doctors without even subsidizing anything. Are you getting me?
I'm getting you well.
The MPs, whereby I still feel that pain because Babu Owino, because he's not from the side of the ruling government, he's always very sharp to see the failures of the government and now start calling some press conferences there, very funny press conferences, but he's not coming in with the solution. He has the whole MPs there, but he's so active to call the press conference to criticize the government instead of going to the parliament to do what he's supposed to do in parliament. You are not supposed to come to press. You are not supposed to come to speakers or microphones to criticize our government. No. Do your part in parliament. When you fail there,
and or when you are on the street.
Exactly. And in fact, Jabaya, let me tell you this. We will be in the streets as ordinary mwananchi na hatutaki mbunga hata moja. Hatutaki mbunga hata moja. Sisi wananchi peke yetu tutaingia kwa street peke yetu. Kwa sababu sisi ndio tunaumia, watu wetu ndio wanaumia, wamama ama bibi zetu wanaumia kwenda kujifungua pale, hakuna nasa, hakuna nani, hawajalipwa. Hatutaki MP hata atakuja kutujoin kwa strike, lakini mwisho wa mwezi anaenda ATM ana withdraw. You understand?
I get you.
And we discuss this thing in a very different way, on another level. That's what I mean. Yeah.
So there's this thing that I also want to look at. You know, the doctors, this thing called health department, I don't know if it was a mistake or this thing was devolved.
Exactly.
Meaning, doctors and this kind of people are being employed at the county level. So
Mm-hmm.
at the county level, we're having 47 counties, and these counties, they don't pay the same salary. They have different, like, different terms and conditions of work. Do you think doctors are going to succeed in this strike to get what they want compared to, like, you know, when you talk of teachers, teachers are having one body nationally that is employing teachers, the Teacher Service Commission. So if the union approach the Teacher Service Commission, ule mwalimu mwenye ako Kabarnet, ule mwalimu ako Mombasa, ule ako Malaba, ule ako Wuothogi, ule ako Siaya, they are employed by one employer. So the negotiation is done by one person. And for the doctors, they don't have one employer. Are you not seeing a situation whereby mtu wa Nandi ataita madaktari na wadanganya na pesa kidogo warudi kazi, ule wa Siaya afukuze madaktari na andike wengine, ule wa Turkana hivyo hivyo, alafu hii story madoctors watoke tu hii story iko hivi.
Nyabaya, you know, the problem that we have is what I always say, and even the other day I was trying to tell you. There is no any problem in Uganda. The policies of the constitution of Uganda is the problem. Museveni has no any problem with Uganda. Even if you put Poppy Wine tomorrow to lead Uganda, the same policies that Museveni is following is the same policies that Bobby Wine will follow. Let me say this concerning Kenya. We have no any problem with all those that we are talking about, like health sector, payment, and all that, whatever. The problem is the constitution that we have.
So
you see,
the problem
within devolution, listen, yes, devolution that we defined 2010 does not devolve everything. You understand? There are still some things that are still controlled from the national government.
Yeah.
You understand? All those things, some of the things are still controlled by county government, but most of the things are controlled from the national government. And that is where our governors are failing, because when Abaya umemba kiti ya governor, umepiga raundi zako za kuomba kura, umepewa kura. Ukifika kwa ofisi, unaanza kufungua katiba ya county government, unaambiwa hapana, health sector inakontroliwa na national government. Hii korokota 20 bob ya sokoni, hiyo ni ya county government. Unaanza kushangaa. Ulikuwa unafikiria kila kitu inakontroliwa na county government. Kumbe kuna zingine zinakontroliwa na national na central government. Unaelewa? Na hapo ndipo tulianguka kabisa tena vizuri sana. We did not devolve everything.
We have to blame our constitution, because constitution, there's something that are devolved.
Exactly, because when we talk of devolution, that is the real meaning of devolution. We devolve everything, including health sector, education, parastatal. We are supposed to be having even parastatals in our own county. Like my own county was Ngishu County, we are supposed to be having our own parastatals. Nairobi, they have their own. Nakuru, Ivo. Kisumu, Ivo. Homa Bay, Ivo. Kikuyu, Kiambu, all of those. Kila mtu lazima wakuwe na their own devolution.
Then that one, I think, is what will empower devolution na governor afanye kazi yake. Because what I know, there's something that even sometimes that if we blame the constitution, we can also say that the people who are implementing this thing called devolution, we also have to blame them. Maybe they don't understand. For example, you've been elected as an MCA. Wewe unaona council wa kitambo kazi yake ilikuwa ni kwenda kwa council pale na kungoja hizi marupurupu. You don't know that as a county, why you have what is called in Kenya, we are having 47 plus 2 assemblies. We are having the National Assembly, the Senate, and the 47 county assemblies. Wanasahau, these county assemblies, they can make laws that can only work within their county and nobody can challenge. For example, Wasingishu County, they can make laws that can promote agriculture. Waseme, hii Wasingishu, this crop haifai kuwa grown up, haikuwa ni sheria, but they don't know that. They are waiting to use the laws the national government, forgetting that they have power to go into that county assembly na waseme
Exactly. Now Nyambaya, you are coming in.
Lazima ukue unatoka kwa hii eneo.
Exactly, you are coming in very clear. In a way that now what I can say, you get somebody from Northeastern, is supporting the devolution on fishing. Fishing, we don't have even any lake in Northeastern. Garissa hakuna lake. You see, lakini ana support fishing.
Anataka fishing iwe devolved. That is true.
Unapata mtu anatoka mahali kama Kajiado, lakini anasema we have to develop maize plantation in Kenya. Na ako very serious kwa bunge mbaya sana. Mpaka anatoa koti. Na huko kwao hakuna fishing, hakuna kupanda mahindi. Wao wanafuga mifugo peke yake. That is where now I'm saying our people or our MPs, they are not well knowledgeable about what is happening when we talk about devolution. You see?
I get you.
They don't know what this devolution means exactly. When we devolve, so we are devolving everything. The only national government is like a supervisor to supervise every county. Kwa mfano, wacha nikuje saa hizi. Wewe unatoka, wacha niseme tu wewe, kwa mfano wewe unatoka mahali kama, wacha niseme unatoka Kajiado. Kajiado, wacha niseme tu Kajiado.
Nipeleke Kajiado, sawa?
Kajiado, hii mnafuga ng'ombe sana.
Ero pale,
Ero, unaona? Kenya Meat Commission haifai ikuwe Nairobi. Inafaa ikuwe Kajiado.
Inafanya nini Nairobi? Na ng'ombe wengi wako Kajiado.
Exactly. Haya, tukuje sasa mtu kama mimi mwenye anatoka Trans Nzoia ama Uasin Gishu. Pale kuna mahindi. Lakini unapata factory ya NCBB iko Nairobi. Haiko kwetu.
Na Nairobi hakuna mahindi mali na mesho hata moja.
Exactly. Tukuje tena mahali kama Kisumu wanatoa samaki. Lakini until as we speak in Kenya, hatuna factory ya samaki Kenya.
Ile fish processing company iko Thika, Kiambu County.
Hebu angalia hapo sasa. Are you seeing? Tukizunguka tu hivyo vizuri sana, tunakuja tena mahali kama Kisii. Wanatoa fruits. DC, avocado, hawana factory yote.
Kuna kitu umesema so funny. It's not funny but it's happening. Mbunge mwenye anatoka Mandera ako pale parliament, anasweat, anatoa koti, anapigana fisheries ikue devolved.
Exactly.
Okay, mleza.
Yeye mwenyewe atundi mahali
utakuwa unapeleka fisheries officer amekaa pale Mandera anafanya nini? Anahesabu miti ama anafanya nini?
That is the question. That is the question.
So that's the question that I'm asking people. That do you think that the doctor strike is going to bear fruit? Of course, health is devolved. We know.
I will answer you, Nyabaya. I will answer you. Don't ask any other person. Nyabaya, this is not the first strike for the doctors. And it will not be the last. Mark my words. Even the teachers who are planning to strike next, it will not be the first and it will not be the last. Even the Kenya airports, it will not be the first and it will not be the last. These Kenyans or our leaders, they cannot listen on us. They are just counting 5 years to be over. They'll come in on 2026. They'll seek for votes from us. Oh, tutafanya hii, tumetenga hii, tutatenga ile. Tunabaki tukiumia. Unaona? We need to revisit. Nataka wewe Nyabaya umepatiwa host. You are the host in this forum right now. Do the right thing. Sawa. Rithika, kama unatuhost hapa hivi, sisi wenyewe tumekutolea. Wewe host sisi tunakulipa 2,000. Rithika na 2,000 yako. Usikuje uambie captain, nikupatia time mingi uongee, utakuwa unanitumia 1,000 hapo, utakuwa unaongea. Unaona? That is the problem that is happening in our country. That is what I know. That's what is disturbing our people.
But now, there's one thing, I don't know if the doctors outside there have remembered. There's this thing called divide and rule. If the doctors were having one employer, mwenye anakuwa approached at their union officials, it will really be easy and it will really make sense to that employer to listen to them. And I think right now, the cabinet secretary anarusharusha maneno, knowing that these people are employed by 47 county governments, yeah, of which today it's easy aende aongee na Waiguru aite madaktari wake na waambie mimi nitawafanyia hivi na hivi, nyinyi mrudi kazi. Wale watakuwa wamerudi kazi. What happens to wale wanatoka kaunti nyingine?
Unajua the problem with our people Nyabaya, ni simu tuko naye sasa hivi, telephone calls. Tunaelewana hapa vizuri, tunaongea. Baadaye wewe unapigiwa simu, unaambiwa wewe unataka nini wewe? Wewe kula iwe nyamaza. Na hiyo ndio kitu watu wetu wana believe sana sana. Naona hii hata hii story yote, unaona hii stima inapotea inarudi nini, kwa sababu yani kuna mtu anaambiana enda Sima nipigiwe simu nipate overtime. Unaelewa? Nisikuwe tu nimekaa pale bila kulipa overtime. Those are the things they are killing our country. Do your part, do the right thing at the right place. Do the right thing at the right place. Don't even work under supervision. You see? And that is where we are backsliding back in Africa. You see?
So in Africa, we have a lot to do. I just want to listen to this.
We still have a lot of problems. Yeah.
On that, hata ukiacha mambo ya health, because the accidents that are happening in the country is also connected to the health. I want to listen to what the CS Health told us.
And even before that, let me seek your indulgence, and I seek your guidance. You are talking of that CS. I saw him the last time that telling somebody, atupatiane kazi hapa. You see?
Yeah, that's true.
Nyabaya, mimi nimekuja hospitali, mimi nakujua na nimekuona. Nitakwambia wewe unakufa saa hii, wewe haufiki asubuhi. Is that the way? Surely.
Not really.
Is that the way to go?
And today alisema peani kazi. Today alisema hawana wafanyikazi wa kutosha.
Alafu wacha hiyo sasa.
Kisha sherehe imefuatiliwa barabarani, manake serikali haijaweka pesa.
And then from another platform, ati mtu ananiambia hapana, huyo jamaa alipewa kazi, sijui nini, alikuwa kwa platform gani? Kamwambia no problem. We have a lot of platforms. We need that guy to come in very clear, atuambie alipewa kazi na tutaridhika. You see? He's our fellow Kenyan. We don't care who he is. We don't care where he comes from, but we want him to be employed. Ukisikia mtu anasimama mpaka anakuomba kazi, sio rahisi. Hakuomba pesa. Jua anajua pesa utampatia 50 bob. Wewe Nyabaya utanipatia 50 saa hii. Kesho nitakula nini? Nitakula 50 leo. Kesho nitakula nini? Ili kazi unajua nitakula kwa muda mrefu. Kazi nitakula kwa muda mrefu. Na hata huyo jamaa na mcongratulate sana kwa sababu aliomba kazi ya kuomba pesa. Na si ati mlikome na hana pesa ya kumpatia ako nayo. Angepatia. Jamaa alitumia akili yake na akaomba kazi. Juu anajua hii kazi itamlisha kwa muda mrefu. What was the answer? Atupeane kazi hapa. Wewe unataka nini? Unaona? No. We have to give our Kenyans hope that kuna kesho. Na kesho itakuwa sawa. Si kumwambia kesho hatuna kitu, wewe kufa enda. That's wrong. That is very wrong.
Listen to him.
Mimi nimetangaza juzi tunarudisha NTSA barabarani na tutawapatia nguvu ya kununua magari na kuhakikisha kwamba sisi tutashikana na polisi, tupatie support our police wafanye better enforcement. Kuna marafiki yangu wengi wanasema Kipchumba simamisha mambo ya barabara, weka polisi waweze wakachunga barabara. Kweli ningependa kufanya namna hiyo, lakini also idara ya polisi yenye iko saizi ya traffic haijapewa pesa ya kutosha kuweka police enough kwa barabara ya kufanya enforcement. We need a concerted joint effort ya NTSA na police, traffic police, tutaweza kufanya hizo za barabara kuhakikisha enforcement imefanywa. Let me tell Kenyans, because many people are speaking as though it has just happened a new wave of accidents. It is not true. We've been losing people for the last 5 years, over 4,500, 4,400. The worst year was 2022, tulipoteza watu 4,650. What does that say? Hatujaweka dawa ama dawa inayofaa kupigana na road accidents since independence. And when I say that, nilikuwa naona watu wengine wanasema ilikuwa juzi. We have been losing people an average from 2004, which is 20 years ago. We have been losing an average of 3,800 people every year. Ukifanya hiyo hesabu inamaanisha in 20 years we have lost to almost 100,000 people kwa sababu ya road accidents. So this is not something yenye mtu anaamuka tu anasema waziri simamisha ajali barabarani. Hapana, this is a national catastrophe. As a country, road accidents is a problem. It's a menace. I have been put here as your minister in the last 2 years for a problem that has been going on annually, 3,800, 3,700 from 204. It has been a catastrophe. It has not just happened. People are heartless to people who walk. They hate people they have no respect for pedestrians. That's why we have lost 445 pedestrians in 3 months. Because wale wako na magari na pikipiki wanafikiria barabara ni yao, hawajali wale wanavuka barabara. That behavior means it is inherent in us. Tunataka kuleta teknolojia ile vitu inaitwa speed cameras na kuangalia wale wanaendesha magari. Tumesema tunataka kuleta na tumefanya procurement process, saizi iko kwa treasury. Tukimaliza, we are working under PPP arrangement with private sector tuweke makameras kwa barabara zote, ndio tuweze tukasimamisha wale ambao wanafanya kazi hiyo. Na pia tunafanya kitu inaitwa instant fining kama wewe utapatikana na overlapping na overspeeding. Number 2, nimerevise ile regulations ile yenye ilitoa alcohol kwa barabara, na nimetuma tayari iko kwa Attorney General. Ile inaitwa drunk driving regulations, ikitoka kwa Attorney General inaenda bunge, na naomba bunge wapitishe haraka tuhakikishe kwamba tunarudisha alcohol kwa barabara na kupima wale walevi wenye wako barabarani. Ya 3, tumefanya tayari regulations ya wale inaitwa commercial vehicle regulations ili kukaza hii malori ambayo wanaleta shida kwa barabara. Tunasema pia lori zote sikuwe na vehicular telematics, ile inaonwa na wenye wanasimamia hiyo lori, na lazima wakuwe kwa sako ama kwa group to monitor hizo malori. Tumeongeza pia kwamba ninaleta regulations mpya ya shule, na shule zote zitalazimika kuweka computer center kwa shule ya kumonitor drivers wote. Everywhere penye wanaenda tunaweka magari yao kitu inaitwa vehicular telematics pamoja na dashboard camera ili kuhakikisha shule zetu na transport ya shule yetu iko safe. Ninataka kuhakikisha ya kwamba pia mambo ya road markings iwekwe pia back kwa ile inaitwa road maintenance, na hiyo tunafanya pamoja. Na pia tunasukuma mambo ya kuhakikisha kwamba 2018 tulipotoa NTSA kwa barabara, our traffic police wakakosa nguvu ya kuweza kuwa supported kwa kiwa barabara.
Nyabaya,
Yes.
give me something to say, because there's something that this guy has said that is burning my knee. Because when this guy says that the police has to come to the road, but they don't have the budget for the police to come to the road, let me ask you, the police who are working in the government of Kenya, who is paying them? If that is not their work. Mimi nilikuwa nafikiria polisi wakiwa kazi, wenye wako report office na wenye wako kwa traffic, mshahara ni ile wanalipwa vile inafaa. Haihitaji wawekewe budget nyingine tofauti. Sioni
ndio nashindwa ni budget gani Murkomen anataka. No,
unajua we've been taken for a ride for a long time.
Skiza captain, before hata uende kwa hiyo budget, today in Parliament, MPs were busy discussing something called disaster management. Ni bill ililetwa na majority leader Kimani Ichung'wah. they want a government, they want to pass a bill to create a department inaitwa disaster management. This office is going to have somebody, of course, in charge. Is going to have a budget allocated from Nini Wakisoma budget from the government spending. And most of the MPs agreed with that, and they were like, "Oh, this bill is good. You know, disasters have been happening. We're happening floods." And I was like, "We are having a full ministry that deals with disaster. Don't we have that with a cabinet secretary, permanent secretaries? Na ukienda kwa county zetu zote, si tuko na departments of disaster na kuna allocation. Like before El Nino, ulikuwa unaambiwa county ya Nairobi imenunua boat, imenunua sijui gumboot, sijui imenunua nini. So they want to create now another one that will be controlled by MPs. So when you say Murkomen anataka another budget ya wale askari wa kuangalia traffic, it's really laughable.
And my question, another question Nyabaya is, they are saying NTSA they have to acquire new vehicles. How? In which way? And who is it buying new vehicles? Is it the government? Or someone is given the funds to buy the vehicles for the NTSA? Because I know the government. Someone is somewhere is creating an order for himself or herself to pay himself for the vehicles to do that. And he has given himself or herself a vehicle that is costing even $1 million. That vehicle will be more than 5 million. One vehicle. And that is where I know we are heading. Murkomen has been mentioned, we are having a lot of corruption. Both corrupt parts of the government. When everything is done through this government, and he's each and every time we speak this bottom, he is the one coming in front. The ministry that is heading, he is the one has a lot of things each and every time. See? Even though we have a problem in Kapedo, we have a problem in Parliamentary areas like but this one for Murkomen, a lot of accidents are happening. But you see now it's creating another scenario whereby it's making money out of our where are we heading? Why sometimes I can talk until now I fail even to understand. Am I in Kenya? Am I a Kenyan or I'm in Somalia? Am I Somalian or what? That's wrong. That's very wrong. If these people they are mad with power, they need people to give them the ministries that are very sensitive, like Ministry of Roads, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of what do you call the security, the one is heading, and many very strong ministries that need very serious people to help. Not these young thugs like me and you, Nyabaya, that will drive things great. You see? We are not happy the way the country is moving now. They are now very busy. I know they are now very busy looking for my number. Where is this guy? You see? But what I can say is that we need a better Kenya, not that the one that is happening right now. We are not happy with what's happening. We are not happy with what's happening. We have no problem for president going for the campaigning for the prime minister to be the AU chair or whatever the seat will be. But we need better to our people. You see? We need to discuss this thing. Share the link Nyabaya for other panelists to come. We have to share this thing together. We discuss what can we do. We cannot give Murkomen the whole of the country to do what he can do the way he wants. No, we are not after that. All of us, we are Kenyans, and even if we sell Kenya now, each and every one of us will have to get a share of his or her. Yes. There is no any other better Kenyan than any other. You are more better than the way I'm more better. I'm more better than the way you are more better. We are all Kenyans.
We are all
Proceed,
Kenyans.
sir.
We equally Kenyans. We pay taxes equally.
Yes,
So
exactly.
we stand equal opportunities. For the ones who want to join the studio, I've shared the link on the comment section. And if you've not subscribed to Afrique24, ensure you do so. In YouTube channel, you subscribe to Afrique24. I've also shared the link up in the comment section. We are looking at these issues of Kenya. The doctors are striking, and this is what the MPs, the people you've elected to go and help you. Just a minute.
Parliament of Kenya must face the executive head-on. The Parliament of Kenya must face the judiciary head-on. There is no way we are going to entertain any arm of government to run this institution. We will not allow it. We are not kidding. We are not playing games. Arrest us, kill us, torture us. We will not yield. Mr. Speaker, the kind of anger we have caused in this country, I dread, God forbid, is the kind of anger that made the citizens of Burkina Faso to burn down parliament. And when the president of Burkina Faso, that was 3 years ago, I'm not talking about prehistory. When the president of Burkina Faso heard the parliament is in flames, he fled. His name is Blaise Compaoré. That's how he was voted out of office, by fire. Mr. Speaker, history is replete with strong generals and powerful kings and monarchs who have been brought down by the power of the people. And Mr. Speaker, today I want to remind them of a man called Belshazzar, a man who God favored to be king in the book of Daniel. Instead of being grateful that God has honored you among so many millions of citizens to be their leader, he entertained a government that was so divisive, so oppressive, and he did a big party and called all the important men whose fathers and mothers were important people at that time. And the Bible says he made a feast, and he entertained them in that feast, and even went on to commit sacrilege by using the utensils that had been taken from the temple to commit and drink the drink of fornication using the vessels taken from the temple. Mr. Speaker, as they were enjoying, as they were making merry, as the deep state was celebrating, as the system was celebrating, suddenly, and I say suddenly, there is going to be a war in this country. There is going to be a writing on the wall. Many, Tekel and Parisi.
Kevin, the one that you've just had is the current ASEA's interior. That was former Senator Kindiki, who was really trying to explain how powerful. I liked that speech because it was really trying to explain how powerful a parliament is, or how powerful a parliament should be. That the parliament is the only body that can stop judiciary, the only body that can stop the executive and ensure the right thing is done. Meaning, when citizens or we the voters become hopeless, then the hope that we have is in the people that we elect to represent us in parliament. But now, look, the doctors are striking. The doctors
Point of order, Nyabaya. Just a minute. Nyabaya.
It's okay. Yes.
Let me leave for 10 minutes, then I'll be back.
It's okay. Okay. As you're in the background, you will just listen to what the parliament is currently doing.
Doctors Ria! Doctors Ra! Doctors Tibim! Doctors Tialala! Warembo ha! Ma doctors mwe! Nurses Tialala! Now, the first thing that we will do is not to leave these precincts of parliament. Mheshimiwa Osoro, these doctors must never live here. Under the doctrine of necessity. The doctors must stay here because they need money. We will not wait for 2 weeks. Because in 2 weeks' time, how many patients shall have died? We want Ruto himself to meet these doctors. Ruto has been wasting time walking around the world, but he has a lot of crises in this nation. The first one being the doctors' issue that he must address today. And doctors, this demonstration must never stop because Ruto said that there is no money. Auze hiyo saa yake ambayo ni 10 million. Walipe doctor. Dr. Ria, Dr. Kra, Dr. Stevie, Dr. Pialala. There is a motion before Parliament that is going to impeach Nakumicha. Nakumicha must. Nakumicha must. Nakumicha must. You cannot do diploma online and then you come and frustrate the doctors who cleared 6 years in the university. Doctors power. The doctors must not be paid yesterday. They must not be paid tomorrow, but they must be paid today. Ruto took loans and Ruto is collecting taxes, and those taxes must be used to pay these doctors. Ruto is vicariously liable for all the deaths occurring in the hospitals, for all the deaths occurring in this country, because he has refused. He has refused to pay the doctors. Ruto touched our toes and we kept quiet. He moved to our knees and we kept quiet. He jumped here and moved to our heads and we kept quiet. He moved to our chest and we kept quiet. Now he has touched our private parts. Dr. Ria, Dr. Kra, Dr. Stevie, Dr. Pialala. Therefore, you must decide what to do with him. Hii serikali haitaendeshwa jinsi ambavyo mtu ambaye anaosha choo anaendesha hiyo choo. The government must never be run like a kiosk. These doctors must be respected because it is their duty, inherent duty, to receive their salaries. The 3 reducible minimums. Number 1, doctors must be paid as per the 2016-2017 CBA. Number two, the interns must be paid. And it must be 100% pay. Number 3, the doctors who have just graduated last year and before, they must be deployed. Today, doctors, there will be no business in Parliament. Therefore, Mheshimiwa Osoro, inafaa utoke hapa before doctors wakukimbize hapa. Asante.
All right. Thank you so much. Boniface, good evening. Karibu sana. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, as Bonnie is joining, wale hawaja subscribe, tafadhali engage that button, engage that subscription button, and ensure that you subscribe to Afrique 24 TV, so that whenever we are live, like this moment, you'll always get notified. you will always get notified so that you don't have to keep on checking if we are live or not live. They'll always send you notification and you will be at a position of joining. So Boni, karibu sana. We were looking at this doctor strike, the outcome, how it's going to end now that the members of parliament are also joining. We've also had some members of Azimio threatening that they might be able to join the strike and to be in solidarity with the doctors. They might call for the Maandamanos or the demonstrations. So we were just weighing on it. So Karibu, maybe you can give us your open remarks. I know maybe if you're supporting Manchester City, they've drawn 3-3 against Real Madrid. And also Arsenal have also drawn 2-2 against Bayern Munich. So we are waiting for the second. Is it the second leg of the UEFA Champions League, the quarterfinals? So the first leg was played today. So we're waiting for the second leg. So we're waiting for the teams that will play tomorrow. Then I think next week, inshallah, from Wednesday, we are going to see the second leg and know who is going for the semi-finals and who is going home. And for the people of Arsenal outside there, I've had them making noise that shall Arsenal manage to lift this Champions League this season, then people should desist from mentioning historic trophies. It shall be the end of history in this story. Yeah. So, Karibu Sana Boniface, you can also tell us what do you feel about this strike. The politicians, sasa wameingilia, not the politicians, but the elected leaders. We saw today the doctors giving their petition to one, okay, this team called the ground team led by Babo Wino, who joined them and told them that no, you need not to leave, but the government should pay you. And after that, you also saw the members of the Azimio, which I'll play that video maybe later after you've given your opening remarks, also threatening that they are going to call for a demonstration in solidarity with the doctors. Karibu Sana.
Yeah, thank you so much, Leo. And what I can say about the ongoing strike for the doctors is that the government need to take serious what when it comes to the grievances of those doctors, because health sector is one of the sensitive areas that need to be taken with a lot of consideration. So I think Babo Wino is one of the aggressive leaders that I know, and his words are always assured, and whatever he said that Baba amemwonyesha njia. I think the guy is very firm, because the way he was talking outside the parliament, he was so firm. So I think personally, I support this Maandamano, because if the doctors are going to school for 5 years, 6 years, and then you come to be paid almost 60,000. What is 60,000 considering the money you used in the school? So what I can say is that the government need to take what the doctors are saying, so that they can hear them, and after they hear them, they resolve what is happening. They give them money. We have a lot of money. The money that is being used to sponsor schools, universities, should be divided equally. We give to doctors, because these people struggle a lot, and any medical course is one of the toughest, even in class and also in practical form. So I think they should be paid their money. They deserve more. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, people say, people expected the parliament to be the ones to take this thing to parliament and maybe discuss the matter of the strikes. But as it stands, it's parliament that is now joining the doctors in striking. So let me just play this. Then we are going to look at that. Who is now going to save the citizens if parliament is the one that is now joining the doctors in strike?
Ladies and gentlemen of the
The
press,
ones who give solution.
good afternoon, and thank you very much for coming to. And we have a statement from the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya coalition, which will be presented by our brother, Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. And we want to thank the leadership of the House, led by the Honorable Pio Wandai, We have our members of the National Assembly here, members of the Senate, and we will be speaking to various issues of national importance. Your Excellency, Karibu.
Good afternoon to you members of the press. We have called for this session because of what is happening in our country. So we, before you as Azimio La Umoja One Kenya, we are in touch with our other colleagues who may particularly members of the summit. Of course, being here means that Baba himself is here. And our sister Mother Karua, we've been in touch with her. In fact, they issued a statement from NAC Kenya yesterday on some of the issues we'll be touching upon. We're in touch with Brother Wycliffe Oparanya. We have seen our brother Mwangi wa Iria. Mheshimiwa J.N. Kioni is in Deragwa, but is part of what we are saying today. And Mheshimiwa Wajakoya also is in Ingo, in Western Kenya, is part and parcel of the statement today.
So what is ClickUp? ClickUp is an all-in-one productivity software where you can manage everything and anything related to your work.
We will summarize our remarks, and I think the Secretariat is busy trying to type out an official version. But of course, what you're saying is absolutely official. We have called for this presser in order to express and show solidarity with our doctors. And as you may well know, the strike that the doctors have called is also been joined by other technicians, the lab technicians and others, members of the honorable profession, the medical profession. We are also aware that as we speak, they are actually demonstrating. It is important to remember that when the whole thing started, the Secretary General of the doctors organization was actually not only tear gas, but hard. And we went to see him in the hospital. Since then, we had hoped that the Kenya Kwanza regime would have taken seriously the demands by the doctors. So without much ado, we want to say we stand in absolute solidarity with the doctors. They're entitled, as usual, under Article 37 of our Constitution, to picket, to demonstrate, to go on strike. What we are now saying is this matter has assumed another dimension. That the whole president comes back and he says, will not pay, won't pay. Goes on to say that they do not have, we have to live within our means. Now we all know that Kenya Kwanza regime has taken serious cognizance of the factors of production. We want to congratulate them for it. When they say they want to go for development in terms of economic growth and not consumption, but they've been preaching water and actually drinking heavy wine. Look at the style, the lavish style that they have assumed. If only they could cut down, because during the National Dialogue Committee meetings, we were able to address some of these issues. And a statement issued that they were going to cut down on travel, for example, that those traveling, say, within the region will all fly economy. But what has actually happened? We have seen exponential growth in expenditure by this government. We all are aware that the wage bill is high, but the way to handle the high wage bill is not to deny people rights. After all, they are collecting so much in terms of taxation. Everybody now, even new members of the press, wherever you are now having to pay through your nose, for the affordable housing levy. actually attacks. Now, what are they doing with all this money? That is what Kenyans are asking. Why don't you have collected all the money from every Kenyan bleeding, literally, bleeding the economy in order to get money. So we can only come to one conclusion, that this is an extravagant regime. They want to be able to milk every penny out of the Kenyans and be able, and then even refuse to pay the doctors. We have established this morning that over 500 Kenyans have lost their lives following the doctor's strike. You may even want to compare that to Shakahola. And it looks like nobody seems to care. We are here to say you will care, because if you don't, we are going to come back to this podium and make further statements with regard to showing solidarity with the Kenyan doctors. I want to ask either Mwangi or Eugene to talk to you about the fake fertilizer. It's sort of a product of heavy corruption. All what you are seeing really smacks of nothing but pure corruption. This is why they are unable to manage, and this is why there's so much contradiction, even on the matter of the fertilizers. Well, Kenyans may probably remember the Americans one time at the famous Watergate scandal. What is happening here is a government being led primarily by one scandal after another, and they don't seem to care. You know, that attitude, yeah, mutadu. And the beauty about, or really, not the beauty, the unfortunate thing about us as a country, as Kenyans, is we forget about these scandals. As soon as they are dealt with, at least they have some kind of semblance of peace, and Kenyans forget. Now, this time, we are calling on our nation, on all citizens of goodwill, to take note of every scandal and hold this government to account. Eugene.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think the government say you have no money to pay your doctors, and yet you have money to give new jobs called CSs, creating offices and rewarding your cronies who lost elections to most of these honorable members of parliament and who are going to be earning more than the honorable members of parliament. And you're saying you cannot pay the doctors. This is the height of irresponsibility by any government. And today we also want to say we are an agrarian economy. A lot of farmers today as we speak, particularly where I come from, they're in their farms. We have rains, we have good soils, but we have fake fertilizers. We have fake seed being given by the government itself from NCPB stores. These are not things being bought kwa maduka, sijui wapi. This is fertilizer from government institutions being given to farmers, and farmers have found in those bags not fertilizer, stones, na mavi ya punda na vitu ingine, very strange things. And for 3 weeks, the Minister for Agriculture, Bwana Linturi, has been trying to deny that there's no fake fertilizer. People have been arrested by Kenyan police, confirming by the Kenyan police that indeed there's fake fertilizer. But now where we have reached, the left arm of government does not know what the right arm is doing. Today, the minister is saying, yes.
Purpose, I hope you heard that. The first one I played was the team ground receiving the petition from the doctors. And this is Azimio One Kenya Alliance also threatening that if the government does not resolve this issue, then they will join the doctors on the street. Do you think this is the right thing to do? Or do you think this one is going to communicate better and make the government listen to the doctors and solve the issue?
Yeah, if they have decided to go back to the streets so that they can show solidarity to with the doctors, then it's okay until the doctors get their pay. They have been going in streets for a long time, but I think William Ruto can be the savior of the doctors. Let him give them money. We have a lot of money in this country, and I don't understand the situation whereby the president is saying that we don't have money. So whom does he think that the doctors are going to address? So if he's saying we don't have money, so they wait until when? We have a lot of money. The president should take the initiative and
But the
go and
president
pay.
told them that, you need to live within your means. And you are saying we don't have money, we have money. And the president said, no, we don't have that money to pay them. The doctors should feel satisfied and contented with what they've been given.
We have money. What I can say is that we have money. We have a lot of money. We collect taxes daily. So that money that is collected, they can balance it and pay the doctors so that we can finish this strike completely. If the doctors are asking for money and they know a certain amount of money that they want, even the clinic officers and also all medical practitioners, let them be given the money because they do a lot of job. And I saw whatever happened in Kenyatta National Hospital, whereby they had 5 foreigners who will be taking care of the hospital. That is one of the worst thing I have ever seen. If the doctors are on a strike and they take that position to hire doctors from abroad, so what does that mean? It's like this strike is going to finish even more months. So what I can say is that President Ruto need to take this thing serious because it is going to even make things get worse. Because I think every country in Africa, they know that the doctors in Kenya are on a strike. So it is even going to lower his political strength because if he cannot support the doctors and pay them, then what is he doing? Because the doctors are the caretakers of the country.
I get you, Boniface. And there's also this thing, you said the government is having money because if you listen today in the parliament, there was a bill, I think it is the second reading, that was brought by the lead of majority, which is planning to create a department of disaster management, actually, a department that is going to have some money allocated to. But when you look at the system that we're having in this country, we already have a ministry with the permanent secretary that is in charge of disaster management. And you and I know that even at the county levels, we are having departments. And if you can remember, before the El Nino that never happened, each and every county had money released to them to their departments of disaster management. And they bought various things, like the Nairobi County bought some boats and such kind of things. So does it mean that now they want to create another one through an act of parliament, allocate an office and allocate resources? Is this one not a way of duplicating things so that they can be able to get more money? Yet they cannot sit down like a day like today and discuss how they can create a body that will look into the employment of these doctors, or how they can come up with solutions that will resolve the current strike that is taking place. Is that one not enough to tell us that we should lose hope in our parliament?
The fact that I saw Huda took a lot of seats in the parliament, both National Assembly and the Senate. That was the
Mhm.
end of opposition and anything that could be raised against the government. So I think everything that comes in Senate or the National Assembly definitely is going to be passed because they have the largest number and they will vote for any bill that is going to be proposed. So what I can say is that president need to know that any small mistake that is going to make, that it will cost him come 2027, and also it is going to affect him when it comes to political regime, because one day I think he will be vying for AU and also any other big position in the continent. So if he has some loopholes, then definitely they are going to affect him. So what I can see is that they need to focus with the major things that can run the country. They are focusing with the small things that are even leading to us to increase the number of corruption cases and also making our country not to be trusted by our neighboring country. So they need to focus with important things. What is this bill for? Yet we have doctors on the strikes, we have fake fertilizer sag, we have also the El Nino that is affecting a lot of families and also a lot of people. We also have the increased death in roads. Those are the major things that they need to focus with. They are focusing with less important things, yet we have major issues that we need to do so that we can run the country. So that is what I can say. President William Ruto needs to be serious with what he's doing. It's like the advisors of the president are sleeping right away because they need to know that when it comes to every sector, it is one of the sensitive areas, and also the security of the country, sensitive areas, and again, fertilizer. Those are the sensitive areas, and also education. Those are the key things that you need to focus when you become the
No, but you remember,
president. So,
I think it was reported that today or yesterday, the president said, it was yesterday, if I'm not wrong, yeah, that we need money for evangelism because there are people who have not received the word of God. Even the issue of banditry that we have in the West Pokot, the main problem is spiritual warfare. We want the church to send more missionaries into remote parts of Kenya because some of the problems in those areas require a spiritual army to deal with them. Now, the issue of banditry, the president is recommending that we send the missionaries. And remember, his wife is among the people who are leading the missionaries and such kind of thing. Also, remember the wife to the deputy president is a preacher. That is why the other day they even organized and brought for us Benny Hinn to come and heal the nation. Could it be that they believe that all these things that are happening are spiritual warfare? So Kenya should just be declared. I don't know the term that I can use. I don't want to use it. It will be so demeaning. So tuachane na hii mambo ya kuweka maaskari, kulipa madaktari. Sasa tuanze kuleta mapastors na waombee watu. That is according to the president. That is what he said. The only problem he said that we're having in this country is a spiritual warfare. Is this one not brainwashing and trying to tell Kenyans that, okay, you should forget about your problem when you see the doctors demonstrating there, just think that it's spiritual warfare. Tunapigana na shetani. That is the president, Boniface.
when it comes to religious matters, that is what I can say. We leave it to God because you don't know what happens and you don't know the person who you are relating to, the strength of him or her when it comes to religion. So I that is one area that president need to know that every person has is on our own religion and kila mtu ako na ile imani yake. So I think that we need to bring a lot of evangelism in our country. That one is not going to solve. But again, every person has his own beliefs. That if you believe that if I'm going to do this one and pray, then it is going to work. So does it mean that if we're going to bring a lot of people in our country to pray for us, we are going to be in the right position? Of course, we know that without God, nothing can. Everything goes astray. We need to involve God. But again, do we need to involve God when we have this ongoing strike? Here is something that you need to solve it manually. You need to go and meet those stakeholders and also come into consensus and discuss with your people so that you can handle this situation in the right way. But again, when it comes to praying, evangelism, that one is personal. It is not a state situation. That one is personal.
That is what Kenya is. You read that billions of money is looted every other day. Ghost workers are everywhere, but doctors who are highly paid or highly educated, sorry, and very important as matter of health sector is concerned, can't be recognized. Kenyans must wake up from religion. Actually, I like this comment. Kenyans must wake up from the religion indoctrination. Zakayo knows Kenyans' weakest link. It is not only in Kenya. Most countries that have gone down, if you look at it, people use religion not positively but negatively. Right now, they'll tell you, Boniface, the quickest way to get rich in Kenya is to become a preacher. Yes, a preacher. A preacher who doesn't understand or who doesn't know what he's preaching, just become a preacher. You've seen people like Mackenzie. I don't want to mention names, but I'll use him because with him, the court even banned that outfit. How many people are brainwashed into that? You've seen people like Kanyari, the Kenyans on TikTok. I understand welcomed him recently. He joined TikTok now, so he's not there to preach. So, Kenyan weak point is religion. Religion is a good thing. We leave it to God, yes, but why do we allow people to mismanage or to misuse religion? Somebody telling you that, the problem in Capedo or those parts of Baringo is a spiritual warfare. The same person is telling you that we need to send Kenyan police to Haiti to go and restore peace. Why can't we send pastors to Haiti to go and rescue the other side? Is this one not misusing Kenyan or taking Kenyans for a ride? Bonnie, as you wind up, I know we've been here, we're having like 5 minutes. So as you wind up, is this one not misusing Kenyans? Do we have to put religion in practical things that we know can be managed? Boniface, you know very well, if you are sick, you don't take medication, you're going to die. However long or however much you pray, you have to take medication. You know very well, if you're hungry and you don't eat, you'll die. Okay, you'll get weak. Even religion teaches you that. That is why, for these people who profess Christianity, Jesus said to feed people during his preachings. He didn't feed them with word, but he also fed them with materials. He said, you don't need just to tell somebody who is feeling cold, you tell them, okay, keep warm. How are you telling them keep warm? You need to make them keep warm. But he ain't going to keep warm. As you wind up.
What I can say is that as Inspire has said that President William Ruto, the Zaka, knows the weakest point of Kenyans, and that is true. We know that people have been brainwashed by a lot of religious leaders, but again, if you have your own senses, that is the 5 common senses, you have to know that in everything that you do, you have to make sure that it gives you some fruits. So if you are strong enough and you are taught by one person that if you don't eat and you die, then definitely you are going to heaven because you died the line of sacrificing yourself. So what is that? You need to understand that God created us and taught us that we should always take care of our health and also the things that are in this planet. So if you are there and you are brainwashed by someone, what does that mean? It means that you are not trying to know what is your purpose in this planet Earth. So what I can say is that we need to take off those minds in religious and we focus with our major things that are affecting our country. Because when it will come to these political matters, we don't need to involve religion. Here we have been seeing Kenyans complaining that they were promised Canaan, but again, they are still in tough days. What does that mean? It means that they had a lot of hopes with William Ruto, but now they are seeing the fruits. When they go to public hospitals, they find that there are no doctors, and he is the president, and he promised to take care of Mama Boga. So will this Mama Boga go back to private hospitals and pay for the cost of those hospitals? And we know that it is very costly. Even to get a tablet in public hospital is very costly. Private is very costly because they don't involve those NHIF and also those public things that you need to take when you're going to those hospitals. What I can say is that Mama Mboga is in tough situation, and yet the president is William Ruto. So what I can say is that let's focus with things that will run the country in the smooth way. Because if we always focus with things that are going to make us look like a dormant nation, then definitely we will not catch up those developed countries. And we know what Samia Suluhu is doing. If it was Tanzanian doctors who are on strikes, I'm very sure that Samia would not even take 1 week to solve that situation, even days. But again, now we are on the 27th day of the doctor strike. That is almost a month. So we have lost a lot of people in this situation, in this period, whereby the doctors are on a strike. So what does this mean? It means that we are very far much behind with those developed countries, because we are doing this, yet we want to catch up and we want to make our country run smooth. How will the country move smoothly if the citizens are suffering in terms of health and also in terms of how they're going to survive? It is tough. I know that, because the area I stay, I have been seeing people suffering because of high cost of living, and also people are suffering because of this period whereby the doctors are striking. We need to take this matter serious, as Alonso Musyoka and the ODM members have said that if they're not going to solve, then we are going back to street so that we can show the solidarity. And I agree with that.
You agree that they go back to street? Boniface, can you hear me? Boniface, you say you agree that the Azimio members go back to street on this matter, yeah? If that is what is going to maybe make the government listen to the plight of the doctors. Okay, I get you. I get you. I know you very, 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 very tired, and maybe somehow some are also happy now that Manchester City have managed to secure a draw away, and Arsenal also secured a draw at home. We are waiting to see how the second leg will be for the lovers of football. So for the people who joined in today's show, thank you very much for sparing your time and watching and following conversations that involve matters Kenyan politics. Of course, that is what we normally discuss here, Kenyan matters involving Kenya. We discuss it in a positive way so that we can be able to come up with a solution. We can be able to inform the community and inform our viewers on the right thing that should be done, as we also get their views on how the government should be able to be run. Inspire Women is saying the doctor strike will definitely bear fruits if they don't give up, but Kenyans should also be very committed to stand with doctors Maandamano and Lazima. I think that one is making sense. They only need a backup of Kenyans. Kenyans should not see them as people who are chasing for something in fertility, but Kenyans should see them as people who are looking for something that is going to make their working condition better. And once the working condition is better, Boniface will agree with me that their delivery is also going to be accurate. If you have a doctor who is satisfied, this is a doctor who will not be in a hurry to treat patients, to go and look for some other side hustle in a different hospital, or to go and open some pharmacy or to steal some medicine from the hospital. They're doing this because they don't have something called salary. Doctors who are in these developed countries, like the ones in Europe, America, and the Australian hospitals, people say that they are professional. It's the difference between them and Kenya is how their governments treat them. It's true. People consider them professional. Our doctors are also professional, actually. If you treat our doctors well, you give them the right salary, they have the right conditions, the right houses, they have the right tools at work. Si eti akikuja ananunua gloves yake, si eti akikuja ile dust coat alivaa jana na ilikuwa stained, lazima aenda aioshe tena ikauke and such kind of things. I'm telling you, they'll be professional. The doctors in these admired countries, they don't steal medicine because they have enough. But here you're having a doctor, ameshatibu wagonjwa, amechoka, anafaa kwenda nyumbani, hana fare mfukoni, lakini kuna dawa pale, akitoa anaweza afukuza apate hiyo pesa. We are the ones who are pushing. Let me say the employer is the one who is pushing them to do these kind of things. So if they are treated well, I don't think any doctor can be able to steal medicine. Any doctor can be able to leave patients unattended to because they are rushing to get jobs elsewhere. Other places, they pay you well to an extent that the time you are getting out of your job, you don't even feel like working elsewhere. You feel like, okay, you have enough money, you can go rest, party, and enjoy the rest of your time. But the doctors in Kenya, because they're being underpaid, they have to look for 2-3 hospitals. So what happens? They will be stealing this time. Anataka atoke hapa akimbie, ataacha mgonjwa pale aende kwa ile hospitali nyingine ambapo pia wanamngojea because they've known ataenda pale saa 7. So saa 7 those guys are waiting for him or her. We need to join the doctors in this strike, join this cause, and ensure that our doctors at least are given the best so that they can also be able in return give the best. So with all those, I think I'll close this conversation until next time, that is tomorrow. And to our Muslim brothers and sisters, Eid Mubarak, as you celebrate Eid al-Fitr. I pray that may Allah take away all your sins because of the good deeds that you've been doing before, during, and the good deeds you're going to do after this Ramadan. So Ramadan Kareem, Eid al-Fitr, and you have a blessed Eid. And even as you celebrate, keep yourself safe. We know our roads are not safe. Take care of yourself, take care of your families, and share the light or share the blessings of Eids with your friends and the people around you. Till we meet again from this end, I want to say goodbye. That was a freak political talk show. Let us meet here as we try to connect you with African stories.
But what political leader can stand up and say, my party is a party of principles? For the party of Kennedy is also the party of Islam. The party of Jarvis is also the party of Goldwater. Where is our party? Where is the political party that will make it unnecessary to march on Washington? Where is the political party that will make it unnecessary to march in the streets of Birmingham? Where is the political party that will protect the citizen of Albany, Georgia? Do you know that in Albany, Georgia, 9 of our leaders have been indicted, not by the Dixiecrats, but by the federal government for peaceful protest? But what did the federal government do when Albany Deputy Sheriff beat Attorney C.B. King and left him half dead? What did the federal government do when local police officials kicked and assaulted the pregnant wife of Slater King and she lost her baby? Those who have said be patient and wait, we must say that we cannot be patient. We do not want our freedom gradually, but we want to be free now.